Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of Metcalf's Movie Journal. This is the show where I do quick reviews for the movies that I watch, give them a score out of 10, and then add them to my list. So let's see what movie I'm reviewing today. On June 23rd, I watched Luca, which came out in 2021. This is the 24th film from Pixar Studios, with Cars 2 and 3 still being the only two I've yet to watch. But this sadly ended up being my third least favorite from the studio so far. If there's one thing Pixar proves here, though, it's that even when they put out one of their worst efforts, they still ended up making a pretty decent kids movie. The Good Dinosaur is still by far the lowest rated Pixar film, sitting with a 3 out of 10, and it's really the only one I'd consider genuinely bad. And even that's mostly because it's almost exclusively geared to the younger audience, so it just wasn't made for me. The only other Pixar film Luca managed to beat out was the super disappointing sequel, rather prequel, that was Monsters University. And if Monsters University felt a bit like cashing in on a popular franchise without much concern for whether there was a story worth telling, then the same can sort of be said for Luca. In a way, it seems like Pixar just wanted to cash in on the popular trend of recent animated films using different foreign settings to add a new and interesting twist to their stories. But where great examples of this like Moana, Coco, or even Soul were able to tell exciting and interesting stories with some really satisfying character arcs, and then they could use their original settings to enhance the story, with Luca, it very much felt like the location and culture were chosen first, and whatever story could then be jammed into that framework, so be it. The story just never felt as important as it should have, as it follows our hero Luca, voiced by Jacob Tremblay. He voices the character in such a way that it feels like a completely standard young boy voice from any Disney movie, and I just wish he could have brought something more interesting to it. We follow him as he journeys from his life from below the sea as a fish monster, of sorts, to life on land. His journey is made all the easier by the fact that when he's on dry land, he turns into a real boy. So there's definitely some elements of Pinocchio and The Little Mermaid blended together. Sadly, neither of those films were ever my favorite, so that's probably part of the reason I was never fully on board with this one. So much of my dislike for this one comes from how poorly explained everything was. I get that it's just a kids movie, but at least try to explain the curse or the origin story behind this magical, never-before-discovered race of fish people. There could have been so much interesting backstory developed about his people, but there was basically nothing. My biggest complaint, however, has everything to do with the character arc of Luca, and the beautiful friendship that develops between him and Alberto, the first boy that he meets after washing up on shore. It's easily the strongest, most important emotional story being told in the entire film, and early on it seems like there was a genuine potential for Pixar to go for it, and finally develop their first openly homosexual protagonist. The friendship between the two really does evolve in much the same way as any relationship with the classic manic pixie dream girl would, so it really had me thinking they were going to commit to it. Alberto ends up playing the role of manic pixie dream boy pretty perfectly for Luca, as he portrays the perfect muse, foil, and friend to help Luca come to terms with who and what he is inside. The obvious theme of a boy struggling to come to terms with a transformation that he can't control makes it that much more upsetting that they didn't just go for it. There are so many great subtle hints to their budding love for each other. I was disappointed to see the female character, Julia, almost shoehorned in just so Luca could crush on a girl to avoid any controversy. It bothers me even more to think that Pixar might have gone that way just to avoid angering China or Russia. It really added a sour note to an otherwise par for the course, solid as ever Pixar movie. So I ended up giving it a 5 out of 10, and it landed at number 800 on my list, putting it right here, in between Blue Streak and You Don't Mess with the Zohan. And as always, thanks for watching. Hey everyone, thanks for watching another edition of Metcalf's Movie Journal. Be sure to click like and subscribe for new videos every week, and if you have a movie that you really want me to watch, be sure to drop me a comment.